Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us in this small open house for the Finance PhD program. So in brief, the schedule for today is we'll have a few short remarks by a few faculty that are quite involved in the PhD program, and then we will open up into smaller breakout rooms with each individual faculty. So you're welcome to follow up with whoever faculty you want and ask more questions. Most of the administrative questions are better directed to either Robin or myself. So please ask us those type of questions. And so without further ado, let me introduce Shaden Titman. Professor Titman is the chair of the department now, and he's held over a dozen editorial positions. He's also been president of the Western Financial Association, the American Finance Association, and several other associations. So Shaden, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Willie, and welcome to everyone. We're delighted to have the opportunity to basically make a pitch for our PhD program. A couple of things that I just think should be noted that are important for individuals looking for the right fit for the PhD program. The first thing to note is that we're a relatively large and broad finance department. We pretty much cover all the bases of finance. We've got people doing corporate finance, asset pricing, investments, consumer finance. We've got people that are very much interested in theoretical research, and most of us, to some extent, are involved in empirical research as well. So almost anything that you're interested in, you'll find people at the Texas Finance Department that will be interested in collaborating and working with you. The other thing to note is that I think that the PhD program at Texas is viewed as a priority by the faculty. It's a priority because the faculty that we have here, we enjoy interacting with PhD students. We want to spend a lot of time with our PhD students. And to a large extent, when you're looking at a program, that's really the number one thing. Will the faculty view this as a priority, and will you have, much one-on-one interaction with the faculty? And I think we would rank pretty high on that dimension. I'm going to be available for questions, so I'll pass it on to the next person, but happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so I'll take on the relay. So I'm currently the director of the Finance PhD program. And as Shaden was saying, it's actually great to do this job here because a lot of the faculty are very passionate about our PhD students. So it's relatively easy to get them to interact with the students, to do things like this, to show up and talk to our students, even though we all have our busy schedules. And two things I think, just talk briefly about our program is so that perhaps is slightly different than other programs, which is, as Shaden was saying, we like our students, have broad bases. Even, many of our students do end up doing empirical work. But the first year, our students basically spend it in the economics department, taking, what's almost a first-year economics PhD program, except for one class they audit that Shaden teaches, which is much more of an applied finance class, so that students kind of learn what finance is about to some extent. And then in the second year, they transition more to just finance-focused classes. And then one class that is also kind of special that is my privilege to help direct now that I'm the PhD director, is this weekly research class where we meet with the students. And basically this class either has students present their own work, or sometimes we invite special guests or seminar speakers to stay over and give us an overview of a particular area where they're experts. And so this is very helpful for our students to help develop their work and come up with new ideas. In addition, if you see, a lot of the faculty actually co-author work with students. So, many times students will have, as part of their dissertation, one paper that's co-authored with some faculty. And among of the faculty that most work with students, and this is why I wanted to include them today in our brief open house, are Laura Starks and Professor Clemens Helm. So let me open the floor to Laura. Laura is actually currently the president of the American Finance Association. She's also held numerous editorial positions and other presidencies like the WFA as well. So Laura, let me open the floor to you briefly.
Hi, I'm really glad to be here and get to talk to prospective students. I think a PhD in finance is one of the most wonderful careers that somebody can have. And one of the things that makes it really interesting is that your research can change. I mean, over my career, my research has really changed. I started out in theory, and then because I went to a place that my first position was the place where people were mainly doing empirical work, I moved over into empirical work, which I've really enjoyed. And then, the topics change over time, and you're not having to be constrained to only one topic. And so it's a great career, and you get to travel all over the world and meet people and talk to people about research, and teaching the students is really fun and rewarding. So I think it's a great job, and I think coming to get your PhD at the University of Texas, which is actually where my PhD is from, and then I left and came back later, is such an opportunity. And again, as Willie and Sheridan mentioned, there are people working in all different aspects of finance, and so you can find somebody that you'll enjoy working with in terms of whatever your research interests are. So with that, I will turn it over to Clemens.
Okay, so Clemens as well is currently vice president of the Midwest Finance Association and has also over 10 editorial past and present positions, and works a lot with our PhD students. So Clemens, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Willie, for inviting me here today. I very much look forward to meeting the PhD students who are applying here later today. And my research is on institutional investors, investments, and household finance. And mentoring PhD students is actually one of the highlights of our jobs. And we all put a lot of effort and time and passion into teaching PhD students. PhD advising is a little bit like an apprenticeship. Like we work together with the PhD students and work on the craft of research. And over the years, I have really enjoyed to work with PhD students. And right now I have 3 projects and recently published papers with different sets of PhD students. And that's always fun to work with them together. Now, most faculty meet with their assigned PhD students on a weekly or every 2 weeks to discuss with them. And in those meetings, we don't just give them feedback on their research. I see our role as well as a cheerleader, that sometimes PhD students are too skeptical or too critical about their own view. And then our role is as well to motivate them to push their research and to enhance as well the quality and to grow professionally. And UT, we all feel strongly about our PhD program, and we very much look forward as well to working, hopefully, with several of you over the next couple of years.
Okay, great. And before we break up into separate rooms, let me just say two more things. One is tomorrow there will be at 4:30 a similar open house with students, so you can talk to current students if you want about their experiences. So that could be quite informative. And Also, I invite you all to, the website has pretty good information in terms of frequently asked questions. So make sure you make use of that information as well. There's a lot of questions there, and if the information is not there, feel free to email us, and we'll try to improve that section to include answers to all of your questions. Okay. Robin, if you want to break up into rooms, that would be great.